Hello, Immortal News family, and welcome back to our channel. In the last 24 hours, we have received the somber news of the passing of extraordinary talents, and today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Before we start, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Number 6. You don't look like you're having any fun. Those were the words Val Kilmer once said as Doc Holliday, sharp, enigmatic, and unforgettable. That same spirit defined Kilmer himself, a trailblazer who brought complexity and allure to every role he took. At 65, Val Kilmer passed away due to complications from pneumonia, surrounded by loved ones in Los Angeles. Though his voice had been quieted in his later years, his impact on film still echoed loud. From his early days at Juilliard to lighting up the screen in Top Secret, Val's range quickly became clear. Then came Top Gun. As the cool and confident Iceman, he became a household name. He didn't stop there. He became Jim Morrison in The Doors, Doc Holliday in Tombstone, and even donned the cape as Batman in Batman Forever. Each role felt lived in, intensely studied, and deeply felt. Val brought courage to his choices, often risking comfort to explore new creative ground. His performance in The Doors wasn't just acting, it was embodiment, and his portrayal of Doc Holliday, still one of the most quoted and beloved Western roles of all time. Even as he battled throat cancer, Val never left the world of film. He returned poignantly in Top Gun: Maverick, offering a rare and emotional reunion with his iconic character. Beyond the screen, Val was a poet, a painter, a thinker. He poured his heart into art, often from the solitude of his New Mexico ranch. His voice may have faltered, but his passion never did. Director Ron Howard once said, "Val was a true artist. Unpredictable, yes, but endlessly committed. He gave everything he had." Val is survived by his children, Mercedes and Jack, who stood by him through his journey. Fans, colleagues, and fellow artists around the world now mourn not just a gifted performer, but a deeply soulful individual. He pushed limits, he captivated millions, and above all, he truly lived through his work. Tributes to Val Kilmer. Number 5. For now, I'm just happy to be back in the gym at all, Vittorio Pirbazari wrote just a day before his passing. That quiet determination defined him, always moving forward, always rebuilding. Vittorio, fondly known to fans and friends as Vito, passed away suddenly at 44, leaving behind a legacy that stretched across both screen and sport. His unexpected death, suspected to be from a heart attack while training, sent shockwaves through the communities he helped shape. As a bodybuilder, Vittorio inspired thousands. With the Hard Gainer crew, he motivated a growing audience, reaching over 200,000 YouTube subscribers. His passion went beyond muscle. It was about resilience, discipline, and being your best self. He wasn't just a presence in the gym. On screen, he brought grit and depth to roles in top shows like Dogs of Berlin and Tatort. His work in Haps, Crime Doesn't Pay, showed his creative range and solidified his status as more than just a physical presence. He was a powerful storyteller. What set Vittorio apart wasn't just what he did, but how he did it. With warmth, with humor, with a kind, giving spirit. Friends and colleagues describe him as helpful, grounded, and deeply human. Director Saeed Ibrahim, a friend and collaborator, said news of his passing knocked me down and threw me completely off track. His entrepreneurial drive led him to launch Caps Plus, a fitness and supplement brand true to his roots. But his proudest role was off-camera, as a father to his son, Maximilian Kian. Those he touched, fans, co-stars, gym-goers, are pouring out tributes. The Haps crew wrote, "We will keep you in loving memory. Thank you for your warmth, your creative spirit, and for being a part of our journey." Vittorio didn't chase fame, he built impact. in weights lifted, in laughs shared, and in roles brought to life. And he did it all with heart. Though gone far too soon, his influence won't fade. It's in every person who trains harder, reaches further, or lives with more heart because of him. Tributes to Vittorio Pirbazari. Number 4. It was impossible not to learn from Lee, remarked a fellow actor. He never took a scene off. Every moment mattered. Lee Montague, who passed away at age 97, carried that spirit through more than 6 decades of unforgettable work in film, television, and theater. He died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Born Leonard Goldberg in Bow, London, he trained at the Old Vic Theatre School and quickly found his place on stage and screen. It wasn't just the roles he played, it was how he played them. He had a deep understanding of character, especially those with sharp edges or hidden pain. Montague first gripped audiences on Broadway in The Climate of Eden and continued to build a career filled with grit, power, and subtlety. He performed at the Old Vic, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the Royal Exchange Theatre. One of his most intense roles came in Who Saw Him Die at Theatre Royal Haymarket, a performance still remembered for its emotional force. On screen, he left his mark in films like The Camp on Blood Island, Billy Budd, and The Savage Innocents. He brought strength to characters others may have seen as one-note, adding humanity and depth. His work with Franco Zeffirelli and Brother Soon, Sister Moon remains a standout. Television viewers will remember him from classics like Danger Man, The Sweeney, Space, 1999, and Jesus of Nazareth, where he played the prophet Habakkuk. And for many, the sound of his voice still echoes. Montague was the very first storyteller on Jackanory, the beloved BBC children's show. His range was unmatched, taking on roles that spanned cultures, historical figures, and fictional villains alike. From Inuit hunters to Charles Darwin, every portrayal was vivid, every voice real. Off-screen, he was known as generous and grounded. He mentored rising actors, listened more than he spoke, and never stopped working to improve the craft he loved. He was predeceased by his wife, Ruth Goring, in 2023, and is survived by his family. The news of his passing has sparked tributes from across the world, all echoing one truth. Lee Montague left a legacy of excellence, humility, and heart. Tributes to Lee Montague. Number 3. She brought joy, intensity, and love to everything she did. Those words, shared by her team at Jeune et Jolie, capture the heart of Gianna Buzzetta, a radiant soul whose passion touched far beyond the kitchen. Gianna passed away at 26, following a tragic hiking accident at Makalea Falls Trail in Hawaii. She had been exploring one of her favorite passions, nature. It was a moment of adventure and love, shared with her partner, Connor Quinton. In the culinary world, Gianna was a rising star. At Jeune et Jolie, the Michelin-starred restaurant in Carlsbad, she served as executive pastry chef. Her creations combined elegance and surprise, with flavors and textures that told stories. She helped the restaurant earn and maintain its Michelin distinction, a reflection of her artistry and tireless dedication. But Gianna's gifts went beyond her craft. She was known for her warmth, humor, and joyful presence. Friends say her smile could shift the mood in a room. At animal rescue shelters, where she volunteered often, she brought comfort to the voiceless and hope to those who needed it most. Born and raised in California, Gianna's life was full of intention. She sought magic in everyday experiences, in a perfect meringue, in mist on mountaintops, in laughter around a dinner table. She and Connor were soon to be married, a new chapter she awaited with joy. Gianna leaves behind her loving family, countless colleagues, and many friends who continue to honor her life through heartfelt tributes online. Her influence is everywhere, in her delicate desserts, in every soul she fed with kindness, and in those she taught to value beauty, precision, and compassion. Though gone far too soon, her vibrant spirit and legacy live on. Tributes to Gianna Buzzetta. Number 2, they say music is the language of the soul, and George Freeman spoke it fluently. With nimble fingers and a heart full of rhythm, George brought warmth, groove, and innovation to every chord. He didn't just play jazz, he lived it, shaped it, and shared it. George passed away peacefully at 97. His life was long, rich in music, and surrounded by those who admired him both on and off stage. A pioneer of soul jazz and bebop, George's sound was unmistakable. His guitar voice, smooth, funky, and bursting with feeling, echoed in smoky clubs, grand halls, and headphones around the world. He grew up in Chicago, where music flowed through every street. Inspired by local legends and late-night sets, George picked up the guitar as a teenager and never looked back. His album Birth Sign marked a turning point. With tracks like Mama, Papa, Brother, he introduced a fresh blend of blues, funk, and jazz that felt both familiar and brand new. Over 8 incredible decades, George collaborated with icons like Charlie Parker and Gene Ammons, but he remained grounded, often performing with his siblings and mentoring young artists. Even in his 90s, George was creating. His recent release, The Good Life, proved that true artistry only deepens with time. Fans and fellow musicians praised the album for its elegance and energy, a vibrant reminder that George's gift never dulled. George's guitar spoke directly to your heart, shared a longtime collaborator. When he played, you listened, not just to the notes, but to the story behind them. His music was a bridge, connecting generations, genres, and emotions. He brought people together through sound, joy, and an unwavering love for jazz. George Freeman leaves behind a remarkable legacy and a family of musicians carrying his sound forward. His nephew, Chico Freeman, continues the family's musical path, honoring George's spirit with every performance. Though the world has lost a jazz legend, his melodies remain, in recordings, in memories, and in future jams influenced by his style. Rest easy, George. You've given the world your rhythm. Tributes to George Freeman. What's trending on the internet? News 1. Crash in Boston's busy Chinatown district left 6 people injured on Tuesday afternoon when a box truck overturned near the intersection of Neelan Street and Harrison Avenue. Officials say it appears to be a tragic accident. At approximately 12:48 p.m., emergency crews arrived to find the large yellow truck flipped on its side, having struck multiple poles and come to rest between a building and a utility post. Photos from the scene show significant damage, but quick action from firefighters helped prevent further harm. Firefighters used specialized tools to extricate the truck's driver, who was then transported to a local hospital in critical condition. 3 others were also hospitalized but are reported to be in stable condition. 2 additional individuals at the scene declined medical attention. Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox stated that early findings indicate no signs of criminal intent. This seems to be more of a tragic accident than anything else, he said, while noting that the investigation is ongoing. Mayor Michelle Wu praised first responders and confirmed trauma support will be available for affected residents and businesses. It's quite shocking to see the scale of damage, she said, emphasizing the city's commitment to community healing. Penske, the truck's rental company, issued a statement expressing support for the investigation and gratitude that more lives weren't lost. Authorities continue to examine the cause, including whether the driver may have suffered a medical emergency. Officials remain thankful the outcome wasn't worse during such a busy time of day. News 2. A Georgia father recovering in a Thai hospital is now facing a financial hurdle after surviving a life-threatening health emergency during a massive earthquake. Joshua Fikete, 36, had just moved to Bangkok with his wife and 2 young children when he suffered a heart attack, severe infection, and required emergency surgery. While awaiting surgery, a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit neighboring Myanmar, shaking parts of Thailand and forcing patients, including Fikete, out of the hospital and into the parking lot. His mother, Sylvia Johnson, called the situation frightening, especially with her son in critical condition. Now the family is trying to raise $16,000, the amount the hospital reportedly requires for Fikete to be discharged. Though their US-based insurance covers surgery, the family says the hospital insists on upfront payment to continue his care. With limited communication due to Wi-Fi disruptions and no way to travel because of flight restrictions, Johnson created a GoFundMe to bring her son and his family back to Georgia. As of April 2nd, the campaign has raised over $5,000. "We just want to get him home," Johnson told reporters, noting that Fikete is too unwell to remain overseas. The earthquake that shook the region has claimed thousands of lives, and recovery continues. Despite the chaos, Fikete's survival is being seen by his family as a blessing, and they remain hopeful that community support will help bring him home safely. News 3. The family of 9-year-old Silvana Moreno is remembering her bright spirit after her unexpected passing following a dental procedure in Vista, California. Silvana, described as the sunshine in every room she entered, had undergone a routine treatment under general anesthesia at Dreamtime Dentistry on March 18th. According to officials, the 3rd grader was monitored during the procedure and later released. However, her family later found her unresponsive at home. Emergency services transported her to Rady Children's Hospital, where she was sadly pronounced dead. The cause of death remains pending, and the San Diego Police Department's Child Abuse Unit is currently investigating. Silvana's loved ones are heartbroken. A GoFundMe set up in her honor highlights her kindness, her hugs, and the love she gave to her family, especially her younger brother Roberto. Her parents Itzel de Jesus and Roberto Moreno are being supported by friends, schoolmates, and a community that has rallied in love and grief. Dr. Ryan Watkins, the dentist involved, expressed that the procedure had no observed complications and that Silvana was awake and walking with assistance before leaving the office. However, conflicting accounts of her post-procedure condition have added to the questions surrounding her tragic death. Amid the sorrow, the community has responded with generosity and compassion, showing that even in loss, the spirit of kindness Silvana shared continues to shine. News 4. A 15-year-old girl from Long Beach is recovering courageously after a dramatic and frightening encounter with a sea lion during a lifeguard tryout that quickly turned from routine to extraordinary. Phoebe Beltran was bravely completing the swim portion of her tryout just 25 feet from the shore on March 30th when she suddenly felt something gripping her arm. "At first, I thought it was a shark," she said. "I was just praying. Please don't bite my arm off." To the astonishment of lifeguards and bystanders, including her deeply concerned mother Bibiana, Phoebe emerged from the ocean with her arm visibly bleeding. The sea lion, likely agitated and disoriented, bit her unexpectedly in what officials are calling an extremely rare and bizarre incident. Lifeguards immediately rushed to her aid, swiftly providing care before she was transported to the hospital. Thankfully, despite puncture wounds and scratches, Phoebe didn't need stitches. She's now healing steadily and showing remarkable resilience. Experts believe increasingly erratic sea lion behavior may be linked to environmental changes and toxic algae exposure. "In over 2 decades, I've never seen anything like this," said Gonzalo Medina of the Long Beach Fire Department. Despite the scary ordeal, Phoebe remains hopeful and optimistic. "It was emotionally overwhelming, but I'm doing much better now," she shared with a determined smile. Her courage and positive attitude are already inspiring others across the community. News 5. U.S. Bank executive Terrence Terry Dolan has been confirmed as the victim of a tragic small plane crash that occurred on March 29th in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. The The 63-year-old aviation enthusiast was piloting the aircraft when it went down, striking a residential home and sparking a fire. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner determined that Dolan died from multiple blunt force injuries. The crash remains under investigation by the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board, which identified the aircraft as a single-engine Cicada TBM-7. Despite the terrifying incident, there were no injuries to the homeowner, Kenneth Taubachman, who was inside at the time but was able to safely escape. First responders acted swiftly to contain the blaze and ensure neighborhood safety. Dolan, who most recently served as U.S. Bank's chief administrative officer, had a long and respected career in finance. He was also known for his charitable work, serving on the board of Catholic Charities Twin Cities. Former CEO Tim Marks remembered Dolan as genuine, thoughtful, and deeply committed to service. In a statement, U.S. Bank shared, "We are grateful no one in the home was injured and extend our heartfelt condolences to Terry's family, friends, and all who knew him. He will be deeply missed." Though his loss is painful, the outpouring of support reflects the meaningful impact Dolan made both professionally and personally. His legacy of leadership and generosity lives on in the lives he touched. News 6. Teddy Mellencamp is opening up with grace and strength as she marks a courageous chapter in her ongoing health journey. Since her melanoma diagnosis in 2022, the former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star has faced more than 17 melanoma removals, 20 surgeries, and the discovery of brain and lung tumors, all linked to the spread of skin cancer. Now 43, Mellencamp continues to share her story publicly to raise awareness and inspire early detection. "I want people to know that taking care of yourself, even when it's scary, can save your life," she wrote in a recent Instagram post. In February 2025, she underwent brain surgery to remove 4 tumors, followed by plans for radiation and immunotherapy. Yet despite the tough treatments, she hasn't slowed down. Mellencamp recently competed in an equestrian event alongside her daughter, sharing, "To ride again is the best therapy I could ask for." Through it all, she's kept her humor, even rocking a wig and returning to her 2 T's in a Pod podcast just weeks after surgery. "Mental health is just as important as physical health," she reminded her followers. Her story is a reminder of resilience, family, and finding joy, even in life's toughest seasons. Teddy's honesty continues to shed light on the realities of melanoma, while also giving hope to others navigating their own battles. Number 1. A film should wake you up, not lull you to sleep. These words, often echoed by Yves Boisset, defined his bold and uncompromising approach to cinema. Yves Boisset, the acclaimed French director and screenwriter, has passed away at the age of 86. He died peacefully in Levallois-Perret, leaving behind a powerful legacy of fearless filmmaking and social consciousness. From the very beginning, Boisset was driven by a desire to expose uncomfortable truths. He started as a film critic, then worked with cinematic greats like Jean-Pierre Melville and René Clément. But it was behind the camera that he made his greatest impact. Boisset's films hit hard. He tackled themes others avoided: political scandals, police abuse, institutional failure, always with urgency and precision. With works like Le Juge Fayard, Dites le Sheriff, and The Woman Cop, Boisset didn't just entertain, he invited viewers to think, to question, and to act. For him, cinema was a form of resistance. His storytelling was gripping, fast-paced, and purposeful. Whether adapting powerful novels or crafting original screenplays, Boisset balanced drama with message. His film L'Attentat won honors abroad and confirmed his international reach. Yet he remained deeply rooted in his mission to reflect the struggles of his time. His peers deeply respected him. Serving as jury president at film festivals, Boisset supported new voices while continuing to shape conversations in European cinema. Younger filmmakers often cited his courage and clarity as a rare model to follow. Beyond the accolades and headlines, Boisset will be remembered as someone who never compromised his values. He told stories that mattered, often disturbing, always necessary. Fellow director Costa Gavras once said, "Yves challenged power because he believed in truth. That was his cinema, and that was his soul." Boisset is survived by his family. He passed after a period of illness, surrounded by love. Though he is no longer with us, the questions he raised in his films still echo loudly. His art lives on, urging us to see the world, not just as it is, but as it could be. Tributes to Yves Boisset. Patty Maloney was a multifaceted actress and performer who brought heart, humor, and dedication to every role she embraced.